Hey, what's up, guys? It's your best friend, Tommy West, back with another NBA video. And the narrative killer is back again. We're going to give you guys the context clues you need to understand just some of the horribly idiotic things that people in the media and people in the comments and people who just don't know any better will say about the game, specifically about the game of yesteryear. Uh, Shit that happened before most of you were born. Uh, I'm going to tell y'all a story about one man's journey to the NBA. And I guarantee you've never heard of this man before. But he's got a great story. He played for the Lakers. And the year that he joined the Lakers, they would go on to win the NBA title. And he didn't play in every game, but every game he played in, they won. And amazingly, every shot he took, he made. It's the only Laker to shoot 100% from the field for a season. The man, the myth, the legend, Norman Stanley Glick. I'm going to tell you all about Glick. And I'm going to tell you about another couple of NBA legends. And we're going to wrap it all up and give you a little more information, a little more context, and hopefully we're going to kill this stupid ass narrative. So, Norman Stanley Glick grew up in New York City, New York. And he was a standout high school basketball player at Taft High in New York. And junior year, he was having professional scouts show up and watch his high school basketball games. He had college scouts show up to watch his high school games. And he was on a track, man. He was on a track. He had also, at age 16, had a deal to play, or had the offer to play minor league baseball for a team affiliated with the minor league team affiliated with the Cardinals, I believe, as a pitcher. Two-sport kind of guy. But there was a wrinkle in the great plan. Before his senior year, his family had to move and leave New York. And they didn't just go around the way to New Jersey or Pennsylvania. No, they moved all the hell and damn way across the country to Los Angeles, California. And in Los Angeles, California, in his senior year of high school, he played for a school called Manual Arts in Los Angeles. I don't know. That's just what it says on the research that I found. Manual Arts in LA. But his head wasn't where it needed to be. The move across the country had kind of shook him. He was in a new place. He didn't have any friends. He didn't know anybody. Teenage years could be hard for several reasons. Again, this guy was a standout athlete on all fronts. But, yeah, he didn't He didn't take to LA right away, and on the court, his play suffered. Now, he was hoping that he would receive a scholarship. And he was hoping that he would receive a scholarship to play for UCLA. That was what he really wanted to go to school there, really wanted to play ball there. But he like I said, his head wasn't on right, and his senior year of high school, his on the court production was down. He did not receive a scholarship, but again, he had the offer to play minor league baseball, and he actually did that. Hold on a second. With his basketball dreams dashed, his hopes of playing college ball, he decided to take up that offer, and he played minor league baseball for a minute. He was a pitcher, pitched 5 games in the minors, and didn't have a whole lot of success. So another dream dashed. So he decided that he would take up a trade under his father's tutelage. He'd go into the family business, and so he did that for a year or two. He worked with his father, but he continued to play basketball, and he continued to hope because he still had some eligibility left, and so he reached out to the head coach of Loyola Marymount, and after seeing him play, the coach guaranteed him a spot on the team, scholarship, come play ball. But registration was closed, and he'd have to wait another year to go join the team, which he was happy to do. And eventually he would play 1 year for the team and average a respectable 13.2 points per game. But his college career would be cut short because of the minor league contract he signed. Now, his case for eligibility was reviewed by the NCAA multiple times. And each time he was cleared and said, okay, we'll let you play. But the school, the Loyola Board of Athletic Control, looked into the issue, and they deemed him ineligible to play for them. Did I mention? No, we'll get to that later. But his 1 year of play was enough to catch the attention of the Lakers. And he received an invite to their training camp, where he beat out 3 other players vying for a roster spot. He had finally made his dream come true. He got a contract to play in the NBA. In the 1949-1950 inaugural season of the NBA. Okay, that's the twist. Is this all happened back in the 40s, right? But yeah, it was the inaugural season of the NBA. The first. It wasn't even the Los Angeles Lakers at this point. They were the Minneapolis Lakers. The first game the Minneapolis Lakers ever played First Laker game ever. And our boy, Norm, was on the team. In the season opener, against the Philadelphia Warriors. Okay? Minnesota Lakers against the Philadelphia Warriors. In that game, Norm committed one foul. He took one field goal attempt, and he made one shot. That was his stat line. 2 points, perfect from the field, one foul. No rebounds, assists, blocks, or steals that we know of. But Lakers won that game, 81-69. Like I said, every game this guy played in, the Lakers won. But that would be the only game he played in. Shortly after the Lakers would release him. Now, they did go on to win the championship that year. But Norman Glick did not go on to play NBA basketball beyond that one game. He did go in 1951. He would play for a semi-pro team, like some Jackie Moon shit. The Philadelphia Spas. The Philadelphia SPHAs. Spas is the Southern Philadelphia Hebrew Association. That was SPA is an acronym for a Jewish league team, I guess. This team was founded in 1917, and it was part of a few different leagues. It was part of the Eastern Basketball League, the ABL, and the Philadelphia basketball team. Again, this is right when these are pre-NBA days, at the very beginning of the NBA. But yeah, so they were in a bunch of small, I guess you could literally say minor leagues. But they had 12 championships in that franchise's history. Amongst those years in different leagues. But 1949 was the last year that the Spas were affiliated with a league. They would go on to play in exhibition games, mostly. So Glick was part of an exhibition squad. Think like the And One mixtape tour or the Harlem Globetrotters. Actually, the Spas would play the Harlem Globetrotters before the Washington Wizards, before the Washington Generals were ever a thing. Okay, they had legitimate games against the Harlem Globetrotters, and they actually won several times. The Spas beat the Globetrotters. But Glick would never return to the league, the NBA. But he did retire as the only undefeated Laker in history with 100% career field goal percentage. In addition to his minor league basketball career and his minor league baseball career and his NBA career, As I previously mentioned, Norman Glick apprenticed under his father, and he was, here, this is the good part, he was the first and only plumber to play in NBA history. He's the only plumber. Yeah, I caught a video. No, I caught a video of Baron Davis going in on J.J. Redick again for his, Jerry West only played against plumbers and janitors. That line. And he made the argument that, that's what guys had to do back in the day, was they had to work. You couldn't survive just playing in the NBA in the early years. In the 1950s, everybody who played in the NBA had a job. Like, salaries for the NBA in that decade was about $12,000. That's what you made. And you only got that, a couple of months out of the year. The off season, you got to work. You have to work to support your family. So, yeah, guys had other jobs. Besides, there were no just professional ballers. In the 1960s, all but the absolute highest paid players were working other jobs. The average pay was about $20,000. And again, you only got that during the few months that the season was going on. By the 1970s, the salaries took a big hike, because now we're getting into the television era. And players were making, $200,000 a year. So most players could survive just playing basketball. And in the 80s and beyond, everybody was getting paid. If you made it to the league, you didn't have to work. You didn't have to work anywhere else. You could just play basketball, and that's all you had to worry about. And that's what Baron Davis was saying to his retort to a J.J. Redick was, these guys some of them would go work all day and then go play the games at night. Like, think of the dedication. Think of the love of the game that it took to subject yourself to that. I mean, my job, I work 40 hours a day. I ain't trying to do nothing physically assertive after work. I'll be aggressively taking a nap, but to practice and play and be involved with, team type of stuff, in addition to putting in 40, 50 hours at a real physically demanding, manual labor type of job, is just insane. If you played 2K the past couple of years and you played my team, then you probably know the name Terry Dishinger. Terry Dishinger played for what would become the team that would become the Washington Wizards. I think they were the Zephyrs. And he famously was a dentist. He was a NBA All-Star, also a dentist. But he played back in the day when NBA contracts were not to the point where you could, even sustain your family, let alone, millionaires and Bugattis and mansions and all that, excess. They couldn't even afford to just fucking live, just play basketball and live. LaRue Martin, the #1 overall pick in 1972, worked for UPS. Elgin Baylor famously was active military in the 61-62 season. He signed up for the reserves, I think, about the same time that Elvis joined the Army. So yeah, he would he was serving on a Army, I'm pretty sure it was the Army, serving on an Army base in between games. Couple of other names here. John Havlicek, Hondo Havlicek, was a livestock auctioneer. Now that just sounds cool. I ain't even gonna lie. Probably grubby, probably stinks. But hey, 25, I got a 4, 45, 45, 45 foot. Give me 50. I need 50. Where's 50? I have 50 over here. 52. Give me 52. 52. 52. Go. I can't. Yeah, something like that. For this little piggy all the way home. Wee. Tommy Heinsohn, Celtic, Hall of Famer, sold insurance. George Mikan was a travel agent. Sounds ridiculous. That's kind of a stretch. He owned a travel agency. He was the top dog. I'm sure he employed somebody, but I'm sure he also, sold cruise tickets and shit like that. So yeah, I mean, you look back and that's just what they had to do. Just motherfuckers that, and I wonder to myself about what if Jason Tatum had to go work at Aldi's and then show up in uniform to play the games? Or what if Luka was, I don't know, driving a truck? Hey, Karl Malone was a truck driver or farmer or something like that. I don't know. We're not going to go on that. But hey, if you were wondering about janitors, the story of an overnight janitor at Dallas Fort Worth International Airport who had a sudden growth spurt and went from 5'11" to 6'7" and just decided to try out basketball. Well, he'd wind up with a much longer career than old Normie Glick. And he would eventually play for a championship team. And he would win awards. And he would become a household name. That 5'11" janitor, his name was Dennis Rodman. So, just know, if you're talking about the past eras, and you say, oh, they didn't play nobody, because they only played plumbers and janitors. Well, you're a fucking idiot, okay? Yes, they had jobs. Guess what? Men have jobs. If you're a gifted athlete and you're a talented athlete, then your job might be to play in the NBA or play in the NFL. But don't knock a grown man for having a job and working a job and also committing to a team and pursuing a sport that he loves at the same time. Is not a knock. And yeah, there was only one plumber ever. And there was only one janitor ever. And between the plumbers and the janitors, well, Dennis Rodman's got enough championships and Defensive Player of the Year awards and rebounding titles and accolades to say, you know what? The janitors are looking just as good as the podcasters when it comes to, putting guys on teams. Anyway, I always hated that. I always hate it when they say, because they'll say it about Jordan. They'll say Jordan played against plumbers and janitors. No, not true. Historically inaccurate in every possible way. Because, again, by the 1980s, you didn't have to work. In the 70s, most of them didn't have to work. In the 60s, you had to work. And the players today who don't have to work, guess what? You have all those players from the past to thank for that. You don't have to go to a factory before the game tonight and put in a shift because of guys like Magic, guys like Bird, guys like Jordan. You know, the league in the 70s, the league was in dire straits. They were in bad financial situations. There was not any the public perception of the sport was not good. People were not fans. It took the great rivalry of a Magic and a Bird. It took the Showtime Lakers. It took exciting basketball to get people excited about basketball, and that brought the money. So yeah, that plumber janitor shit, save it. And this stuff's not hard, guys, to find out. Just because J.J. Redick said it, don't mean it's fucking true. J.J. Redick is very misinformed about the history of the league, apparently. Either that or he's just trying to, trying to knock down the history of the league so that everybody else looks like they don't measure up to certain contemporary players. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret too. 20 years from now, they're gonna say the same shit about LeBron. They're gonna say he didn't play nobody but Twitch streamers and podcasters. Anyway, that's all. I just want to throw that out there to you guys. Take a minute, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I love you. We'll be back to talk about something else here real soon. Peace.